Welcome back guys to the Hello World Guy, and in this video we are going to implement the death screen for our enemies, and this is part number 10 of the platformer series. And if I hit play, just you can see that I have got an enemy here, and if I can shoot, and that causes a nice effect when the bullets hit something, and it's pretty awesome. And we can also shoot the enemy, and if we shoot him enough, then he actually won't do anything. He won't die, but still that works, I guess. We need to, of course, change it so that we get a so that we now have the enemy destroy itself when it dies, and the player can also display a death screen. So in order to do that, the first thing I would like to do before I actually do any of that is go under animation, not animation, sorry, prefab, select this fireball, and make sure that it's a sprite renderer. In the sprite renderer we have got it at the super, okay, we have got the order in layer as well, high, but it seems like it's okay. This is fireball. I select the explosion effect, make sure that that's super foreground as well, and it's something like 25, because we want this explosion effect to be on top of everything else. So if I go here, and now if I hit my enemy, you should see that the explosion effect is now on top of him, which is nice. So yeah, this is all working. So let's try to implement the screen. So in order to do that, we obviously first need to design our deck screen. So for that, I'm going to go under my hierarchy here, right click, create a new 2D object, go under UI actually, and create a new canvas. This is going to be called our death screen, or maybe death screen canvas, I guess you can do that. Anyways, in here we are going to have, first of all, right click, UI image. This is going to be our background. This image color, make sure that black, make sure it's got no sprite on it, and make sure that it's kind of a little bit transparent, and then go under here and make it stretched on all axes so that it's kind of like that. And then right click here, and I'm gonna add in a text here, so text, and call it that's text, I guess. And this is going to be center aligned, and make sure that it's stretched it's on the top and stretched, or maybe in the center and stretched. I'm going to make it stretched but in the center, and then move its position Y to a little bit up, like 100, like that. And then you can increase or decrease its height if you want, but we are going to increase the font size a bit to something like 80, and then make sure it's bold also. And I'm going to go here and say game over, and then I'm going to make this text red and also make it underlined. Yeah, maybe. Okay, this is strike through. Yeah, you can add different effects here. You can make it small caps. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm actually going to do that, and I'm going to make it a little larger, like 150. No, that's too large. 120. I'm going to make it 120 and move it a little bit even more up, maybe. Okay, so the position is 120 as well. Anyways, this works, so we might want to add in a button to play again. We are not going to add a return to menu button for now because we do not have a main menu. So just go ahead, right click here, go under UI, and add in a text mesh pro button. This button is going to be called actually this is going to be called play again button. Oh, by the way, you can add spaces in your object names, but I just prefer to have it this way. And this, and in here make sure that it's stretched and turn on auto size as well, so that we can make it whatever we like. And I'm going to decrease its position Y. Maybe you can increase the height of the button a little bit, a lot, okay, like that. And then you can increase the width as well. Yeah, I'm going to make the width something like 250 while making the 250 actually, and then making the height something like 120. Then I'm going to decrease its position on the Y, something like -70, and then I am going to select its text and change it to be play again. Maybe make it on 2 lines, that would be better. Then select this and make it height a little bit larger. Also make sure that it's stretched and it's aligned center, but I think it would make a little bit more sense if we added like 5 pixels of padding everywhere. Alright, that looks better. And then we can select this and make it bold maybe, and then we can Actually, I think it was better if we just had. Okay, so I'm going to actually call it restart. So yeah, that's awesome. And then make sure that its height is a bit smaller and its width is a little larger. That's nice. Increase the padding a little bit on here, and yeah, 10 on all sides. Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. And this is going to be our final button. So yeah, now with that done, we can select this and disable it because we do not want it to be shown in the start. And now we can get to the coding part. Now for that, I'm just going to open up my player.cs script here. This is going to be, well, our main player script, and in here I'm going to, for UI, I'm going in the UI header, I'm going to add in a serialize field here, private. This is going to be, you can make it a canvas actually, called death canvas, I guess, or maybe death screen. Uh, that screen canvas, that looks better. You don't need to make it a game object, you can, but I'm going to make it a canvas to make sure that it's not something else that's being added to this. And in here, in the start function, make sure that that screen canvas dot active is active and enabled is equal to I think that's a get field. You might need to use out, you will need to go game object. Maybe you can just make it a game object, doesn't matter, because you know we will have to use the game object property. So now we can just say active is equal to false. And what it's this is obsolete, by the way. Make sure that you use the fact active method because that's the new way, I guess, for some reason. And now all you need to do in the on that function is well, we can debug the log. Maybe I will not. And here uh, we will say that screen canvas dot set active true, and this should actually work. So we have got our reference here, and we are actually, let me remove these, close, I need to close these tabs here, so that's a bit better. uh, and then we have got our reference here, and we set it to be not active in the start, and in the on that function that is automatically called by the event. If you remember, we have got a event here in my damageable script. We have got that event here, and before that we use and that way we call this function, which is a public void, and that sets it to true. So this should work, but try. Okay. We did not even drag that. Okay, drag that in here, that's being canvas, and if I hit play now, this should work. So if I go here, you can see that I get damaged and my health is decreasing. And if I keep getting damaged, it's kind of hard because you know he still continues his path even if I am being damaged. But this time it should work. So final attack. Okay, it's really not working, seems like. Why is it not working? What's the problem? So if I go ahead and open up my damageable here just to see and make sure that we haven't got any error here, you can see that we are invoking our on that event. If it's less than or 0, we need to do that. If it's less than or equal to 0, because well, that's what we are supposed to do. So if I go under Unity now, this should work. Hopefully it will. Let's try. Hit play and let's see if it works. So if I go near now enemy, and you can see it starts damaging me and I'm receiving damage, and yeah, that's working. Sometimes it causes this weird bug. We will try. Okay, so we have got our this here. We can still move in the sorry we can still move in the background, and clicking this button doesn't do anything. But of course we need to fix all of that, which we will. So in order to do this, all we need to do for fixing the first problem, that the player can still move, is well, disable the player script. You might want to split this up, and then you will have to get references because this is getting like 150 lines already. But no, we are not going to do that. We can just set enabled of this variable to be false. So yeah, that should work. And for the actual button, now we are going to implement that. Alright, so in order to implement the restart button, all we need to do is, well, it's very simple. Just go to scripts, right click, create a new, as we did in the Last one we actually in the FPS series we had a UI events class and a UI events object which we can make a, oh come on, we had a UI events class which contains all of our button events and stuff and a bunch of other things, and we could call them based on whatever level we were. It was up to us. So yeah, that was pretty nice. So I'm going to move this to 0, then I'm going to go to scripts and add this UI event script with this empty game object, and then I'm going to make a prefab out of this so we can use it in other levels as well. Then I'm going to go under scripts and open up the UI event script. Now this is essentially going to, okay, remove those. It's essentially going to contain a bunch of public methods that we can call from outside, and let's start off by creating a public void uh, restart level. All this one does is that we of course, in order to use that, we need to be using Unity engine dot scene management, and we are going to use scene manager, scene manager static class function load scene, and for the scene we are going to say scene manager dot current come on, dot get active scene, which returns a scene, dot build index, which returns a number that we can use to load the scene. So this should essentially work. Now in order to actually register that callback that we just created, select the button, go down here, you can see on click event here, add in a new one, drag UI events for the object, and for the function go under UI events and select our restart level function that we just created. Now if I play and once I actually get to 9, you should see that it works. So go near and wait. Okay, so you can see once I've died, I can click this restart button and that starts the level again from scratch. So yeah, that's pretty much working. So this is all awesome, and we have got a working death screen for our player. So now it's time to implement a death system for this enemy as well. Alright, so in order to implement the enemy death system, I think you can do that yourself pretty much. It's not that difficult. Just go under the enemy, add in a public void on death here. We can call it anything, and in the on death function, just go ahead and set enable. Actually, just destroy game object. For now, we are of course going to add in an effect later. But if I just go destroy game object and I wait and I go under here and it's compiling, and once it is done compiling, you should see that it works. So yeah, just select the enemy and make sure that you go ahead in the and drag the enemy script. Okay, just add in a new on that event, drag enemy here and choose the on that for the function. So this should work. So if I play now, you can see that I can you remember the way we shoot, so just click the enemy. Oh, and that was it too. Literally, was that really correct? Let me check. But the enemy has got a health of okay, damageable default health is 30. Yeah, that's fine. Our player attack 15. So you can see that the enemy didn't get destroyed, but of course we want him to display some kind of effect when he gets destroyed. So in order to add that, we are going to go under at the effect, we are going to go under the Sunnyland folder. We have got if I go under artwork, sprites, effects, you can see we have got a enemy death effect here already for us. So you can just try to drag all of these in here. It should automatically recognize that we are uh, creating a animation, and then go under this animation folder and call this one I don't know, enemy death. Alright, do that, and then you can see if I control 6 to open up the animation window, and then I go here and then I select this and I play this, you can see that's what it looks like. Of course it's too small. Select everything, make sure that 8 pixels apply. Oh, that's better. That's a bit too large, so we might scale it down, but let's try doing it. This is what it looks like. It is quite large actually. I'm going to make it smaller just in here because we do not want that to be that large. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot more reasonable. 16 pixels per unit. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So now what we are going to do is that we have got this. I'm going to leave this here, go to animation folder, rename the animator here to enemy death as well. not that weird name, and then open it up. And I hope you can guess what we are going to do here. Right click, create a new empty state, call it destroy. Add in destroy on enter behavior here that we created in the last episode. Make sure to watch that one if you haven't done already. And then make a transition. Okay, that's kind of weird. Make a transition. You can actually make a transition to itself. It means make a transition to the new state that we created. Destroy. Its name is, and then just select this transition and make sure it has got 1 as the exit time, no transition duration, and well, that's it. So this should work. So now we have got a working thing here. Just basically like that explosion effect we had earlier. So now if I go under here, and then I can, for my enemy, I can have a maybe I can just put it in a checking CLI field, private game object, death effect, death effect going to be equal. Oh, come on, we don't need to set it equal to something. And with this death effect, if I go here in on that function, we are going to say instantiate death effect at this dot transform. Actually, why we are doing this? Add transform dot position and quaternion dot identity as the rotation. Quaternion dot identity, which means that it's basically not rotated at all. So that should work. We are instantiating an object at the correct position. What is this? Okay. So yeah, this should work. So if I let it compile, and then of course we need to drag it because we haven't even created a prefab yet, so we need to do that. So if I right click here, add in a new 2D object sprite, just add in a square here, I guess, and then drag this explosion this to here, and then make sure that it's set to not first make sure that it's the enemy death, not the explosion. Enemy death, okay, and then make sure that it's set to enemy death. Just set it to enemy death 0, I guess, enemy death 1, and you can see that's pretty awesome. And now but I can rename this to enemy death effect. Alright, that's not awesome. What I can do is I can go under prefab and drag this in here, and then I can delete this, and then what I can do is go under enemy, and then I can go down here and I can drag the enemy death effect in the death effect. So now if I hit play, then what you should see is that I can shoot my enemy once. That's awesome. And I can shoot him again, and it destroys with that effect. So yeah, this is pretty awesome, and we have got a death system for our player and enemy both working, and it looks beautiful, and we have got a nice shooting system as well. So yeah, our game is going pretty well, and in the next video we are going to implement a better level and stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next video. Also make sure to like and subscribe because a lot of you aren't subscribed, so smash that subscribe button, and bye.